Hello everyone, I'm Metis Balaska and welcome to the stream. So yeah, I'm starting the stream in the mornings for the next 2 weeks. So mornings for me. I'm just seeing how much that works. So yeah. The Fate Stay Night remaster has come out, and we are going to be playing that. I'm looking forward to it because while I have played the original Fate Stay Night, this is my first time officially owning the game. And this is an official translation. And you can also see there I've got a tribute to two voice actors that recently passed away. Rachel Ellis, who played Misty and Jessie in the Pokemon dub in the first 8 seasons of the Pokemon anime dub, and Atsuko Tanaka, who voiced many characters, as including Motoko Kusanagi, and one that's actually in this game. I will not spoil that for anyone. So let us get to the game. I have to start up the game. I'm starting up the game raw first, because I remember it just starting, the original one. Contains graphic scenes that may be disturbing to some players, yes. Which is why I put a content warning. No. Type Moon presents. This is why I wanted to start at raw. The tip of the sword was like a flash of lightning. A spearhead thrust to skewer the heart. Even attempting to evade it was pointless. It was but a flash, too swift for the human eye to follow. And yet, moonlight swept in to save me. From the strike that threatened to end me. The sound was beautiful, like the tolling of a bell. No, truth be told, the sound hung over me, heavier than an iron weight. This beauty had little to do with aesthetics. The stark armor wrapped around her was like the frozen night itself. The ringing was not itself pleasant. It was the sound of steel. But the night herself was beautiful enough to make it into the chiming of a bell. Yeah, so this is a port of the PS Vita port of the game, called Rialta Nua, which was on the PS2 first. So there's actually voice acting in this one. Her voice resonated in the darkness. Indeed, the pact was sealed. just as she chose to serve me. I'm sure, in that moment, that I swore to save her. The moonlight cut through the darkness. As if in imitation of the night, the storehouse regained its former calm. Time had stopped. The vision before me had lasted less than a second. But that as it may, I will always remember the sight of her as clearly as if it were still happening now, even if I fall into the depths of hell. The faint slant in her profile, her serene, divinely green eyes. For a moment, time stopped, and her silhouette, draped in blue, swayed in the wind. I was struck by the pale blue glow. Her hair, as fine as golden thread, was bathed in moonlight. Fate. This happened 10 years ago. I see someone who takes me back. He's tall, with chiseled features, and I've never known him to crack a joke. He ruffles my hair affectionately. No, that's not what this is. It's more like he's grasping my head and working it, like a stubborn jar lid. Maybe he doesn't know how to control his strength. That's only to be expected. It's the first time he's ever done something like this. It's time for me to leave. I know what to do next. I answered yes in a somber voice. He nodded, withdrew his hand, and stood up. That's all. Had I known this would be the last time we would ever see each other, I would have done my best to make him laugh with the perfect joke. I've been practicing punchlines in private, in the hopes of finally seeing a smile crack that stony face. I have one regret. It's that I never got to tell him any of my jokes. Get the association in your debt before you become an adult. Any decisions after that, I leave up to you. I am sure you'll manage on your own. So he said, but I bet he was worried about me. He told me about my family's heirloom jewels, the gems passed down to us from our Grand Master, and how to manage the underground workshop. It was a rapid-fire course of subjects he'd never taught me before. Even as a child, I realized that he would probably never come home again. There was a war. Not a war between countries, but between people. But in this war, there were only 7 combatants. It might not have seemed fitting to call it a war, but having mages involved changes things. 7 mages from different factions competed, but I wasn't sure why. They killed each other using methods I didn't really understand. One of them was the man in front of me. It meant that he would kill, and eventually be killed. I'm sure he felt the ticking of his clock even more keenly than I did. Rin, before long, the Holy Grail will appear. It is the duty of the Tosakas to obtain it, but above all, it is a path we are destined to walk as mages. And with that, he ruffled my hair one last time and left. I never saw him again. My father/teacher was one of the masters who participated in the Holy Grail War. He never came home. I bid him farewell, as a well-behaved daughter should. I knew I was on the verge of tears, but I didn't let them show. I loved him. He was a great father and an even greater mage. Mages are stubborn people. As far as I knew, there wasn't a more upstanding man in the whole world. As my instructor, he chained me. As my father, he loved me. So I decided I'd accept the things he left for me and choose my own path. Rin, before long, the Holy Grail will appear. It is the duty of the Tosakas to obtain it. But above all, it is a path we are destined to walk as mages. In the end, his final words for me were given as a mage, not as a father. That's the moment I made up my mind. It's only natural for an apprentice to live up to her master's hopes. That's how I, Rin Tosaka, grew up after experiencing life's twists and turns. It's been 10 years since my father went off to war. I wouldn't say I've been looking forward to this day, but I'm a bit on edge. That goes without saying, after all. That moment which was burned into my memory 10 years ago will soon be upon me again. I hear something. Ring, ring. The noise doesn't stop. It's such an infernal racket. It's almost as if if it's here to avenge my father. I wish it'd just let me sleep a bit more. In fact, it should. I stayed up into the early hours deciphering my father's will, and I used a hell of a lot of magical energy to do it. I'm totally exhausted, mind and body. Ring, 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 ring. The alarm clock is deaf to my complaints. What kind of machine makes a noise that seems like its sole purpose is to remind you that you're late? An alarm clock. True, but there's a time and place for everything. No matter how much of an overachiever I am, I should make it to school on. I should make it to school on time, at least for today, if only slightly. Why would you do that? Doesn't that sound off? I appear at the alarm clock through sleepy eyelids. The hands point at 7 o'clock on the dot. I usually get up at 6:30, which means I've completely used up my safety margin. Speaking of which, why is my brain so slow this morning? I glare at the clock for several seconds. I shut off the alarm and climb sluggishly out of bed. The morning chill bites at me as I cross the hallway and enter the parlor. This is the final 7 a.m. In January. Winters in Fuyuki are relatively warm, but the mornings here are cold as anywhere. Even at home, my breath mists white. It's that much colder without anyone else living here. I turn on the heater and go wash up. Single living is so inconvenient at times like these. If there was someone else here to wake up before me, then the parlor would already be heated. I wash my face at the sink. I run a brush through my long hair and get dressed. A chilly morning in a frigid bathroom. The only thing to be said for this is that the cold water mercilessly beats the sleepiness from me. Ugh. Cold water in cold weather. Ugh. I feel for you, Rin. Oh my God. With a final tug on the ribbon and at my collar, I finish getting dressed. All that's left is to have breakfast and go to school. The clock reads it's past 7, so my morning rush feels a bit anticlimactic. Of course, I'd never do anything so uncouth as sprinting to school. You gotta fulfill the anime trope of running to school with toast in your mouth. The Tosaka family motto dictates that we conduct ourselves with confidence and elegance at all times. My ancestors must have been some high and mighty aristocrat, so that's what we've taught through the generations. The anachronistic mansion I live in is proof enough of that. Plus, the Tosakas are a line of spellweavers who practice what is known as magecraft. We're not just an old family. We have an admirably storied history. In fact, I literally can't talk about it. Hold on. Won't let me pin. The truth is, I'm a mage. Who could I even brag about that to? As the name suggests, magecraft is is what most normal people would see as magic. It sounds like some supernatural woo-woo. I never would have pegged Rin using that language. But actually, it does make sense. And if you like to think of it as just wiggling your finger and saying abracadabra, that's fine too. Just think of us as people who chant weird words and make equally weird stuff happen. That said, we don't fly around on broomsticks. We don't shoot stars out of wands either. We can do things kind of like that, but there is no point, so we don't. We're pretty much heretics who lurk in the shadows of society. We're not allowed to draw attention to ourselves, and anyone who has time for that kind of thing would rather spend it on their research. Ordinary humans might call us magicians, but that would be wrong. In fact, there are only 5 magicians in the whole world. Magicians are what we call people who can do something no one else can. They can accomplish feats beyond the means of modern science and perform genuine miracles. Similarly, magic is a label we use for mystics. Magical mysteries that can't be realized with any amount of time or skill. While magecraft, though it looks mysterious, is something anyone can do with enough time and resources. I'm a mage, and the kind of mystics I use are merely magecraft, not true magic. Confusing, I know, but that's how it works. Also, modern civilization doesn't accept the existence of mages. We believe in, manipulate, and study things that can't be measured, which puts us at odds with modern society. Above all, there's no point in any of what we do. We'd be so much happier just going off to a normal school and becoming a normal. You'd be so much happier just going off to a normal school and becoming a normal adult than you would studying magecraft. Human technology has accomplished great things. For the last few centuries, magecraft has been playing catch-up to the progress of civilization. Nothing is impossible for society anymore. Miracles that could only be realized with magecraft in the distant past have been reduced to common tools and appliances. Even so, magecraft does have its benefits. Just as there are some things only science can accomplish, there remain heights only mystics can reach. If science is racing into the future, the mages are racing into the past. I think the Tosaka Grand Master said that. Whether you're heading into the past or the future, your destination is the same, 0, or something like that. You can shelve the difficult. We can shelve the difficult topics for now. Philosophy is for the elderly. I finish my breakfast and pick up my bag. I'm reluctant to take something so valuable to school, but it would be a waste to leave it behind. One could even say it is on an entirely different level. I obtained the gem after decoding my father's will last night. It's imbued with 10 years' worth of my own magical energy. I've been told that the Tosaka family has heirloom jewels passed down since the olden days, and this might be one of them. Tosaka mages specialize at conversion and flow of power. We channel our magical energy into precious gems whenever we have a spare moment. Simply put, I'm the gun and the jewels are bullets. The main thing I've inherited from my father is the mage crest engraved onto my left arm. A mage crest is proof that I'm the heir to our lineage. It's like all the techniques of the Tosaka condensed into a tattoo. Oh, it comes with a flowchart. It's not gonna mean much. It's not gonna mean much now, but it'll be great when it happens. We will make our first save. Huh. In the original, you could name the save. Oh, hold on. There we are, sound settings. Ascii volume fine. BGM is fine. Let's crank up the voices a little bit. Sound effects, a bit more than that. There we are. And save that. For now, I store my pendant, my father's keepsake, in a pocket.
切り札だものね。これに秘められた魔力ならできないことはないぐらいなんだし。
It's 7:30. I better leave soon if I don't want to be late for school.
シュミースン、フィアファーレントライ。
I weave energy into brief foreign phrase. As a mage, I can't neglect the security of my home base. That still applies, even if I've never had as much as a single burglar, lost child, or stray cat wander into my home. Actually, I don't think the neighbors have ever even come over to say hello.
別にいいけどね。野良猫でさえ入ってこないってどういうことよ。
I look up at the mansion that's been my home for over a decade. Fuyuki is a strange city. One side of the intersection dividing the residual area is filled with old samurai estates, while the side I'm on has an abundance of mansions built in European style. Apparently, a whole bunch of foreign families immigrated here long ago, but I've never seen a single foreigner around. There's even a cemetery for foreigners in Shinto, the new part of the city across the river, but it was built for the generation that immigrated here.
日本の土が合わなかったのかな。
I make a mental note to ask the priest about it next time I visit the church. He's nothing if not full of boring trivia for sure.
あれ？
Something feels off as soon as I step outside. Yeah, this is kind of eerie.
なんだろう。思ったより静かなんですけど。
There's no trace of the typical morning bustle. At 7:30 in the morning, there would normally be students and workers on their daily commute.
まあ、こういう日もあるか。
Maybe everyone slept in. It's unusually cold today, so everyone must be snuggled up in bed.
けどさすがに。
Even if that were true, it's strange that there isn't a single student on the street. At this time of day, you'd expect to see at least a school uniform or two. And yet, from where I'm standing at the school gate, it looks like morning club activities are just starting up. Which can only mean...
あれ、父さんか？今朝は一段と早いのね。
やっぱりそうきたか。
With a light sigh, I turned to face the student who called out to me.
おはよう。今日も寒いね、こりゃ。
The girl who dresses me so casually is Ayako Mitsuzuri. She's my classmate in 2A, and she has quite a history.
おはよう、みつづりさん。つかぬことを聞くけど、今何時だかわかる？
何時って7時前じゃない。父さんが寝ぼけてる？
So in other words, our alarm clock was fast. She waved her hand in front of my face as if to ask if anybody's home. Ayako is one of my friends, and she knows I'm not a morning person. She's probably figured out by now I'm still not completely with it.
うちの時計1時間早かったみたい。しかも軒並み。目覚まし時計はおろか、柱時計まできっかり早まってた。
What's going on here? Father must have set the clock go haywire once I took the pendant out of the underground cellar.
遠坂、
気にしないで。別に大したことじゃないから。それより三辻さんは今日も朝練？
ええ、弓道部は問題児も多いし、うまいのが一人減ったからね。4月の新入生獲得のために少しぐらいは見栄えを良くしとかないと。
そう、気苦労が絶えないのね、相変わらず。
他人事だからって言ってくれるわ。あ、ついでだから見ていく？遠坂が見学する分には男どもも喜ぶけど。
弓道部。
I'm acquainted with 3 of its members. One is Ayako, the girl I'm talking to now. I barely ever speak to the other 2. Of those latter 2, there's one I actually can't explain in a way as simply an acquaintance. I became friends with Ayako, the club captain, because I'd been watching the club from afar.
そうね。様子を見るだけなら付き合うわ。早く来すぎたからやることもないし。
よし、じゃあ善は急げ。早速行こう。
One of our school's trademark says it's well-equipped archery range. The chair of the school board has a passion for kyudo, traditional Japanese archery, so they built a magnificent range on campus. It's kind of a waste of a high school club, to be honest.
ほらほら、まだ開始まで時間があるし、中でお茶しようぜ、遠坂。
Ayako tugs on my arm, looking somewhat pleased. If I'm being honest, her brusque way of speaking is a bad habit. As Ayako said, there's no one else at the range. We sip Japanese tea that's so hot we sip Japanese tea that's so hot it numbs my tongue as we prepare ahead for today's classes. The hot drink is delicious in the quiet wintry archery range.
さて、単刀直入に聞くけど、そっちの調子はどうなのよ、遠坂。いい加減頼りになる相棒は見つかった？
And she uses the occasion to ask me something completely ridiculous.
ほんと、いきなり本題に入るのね、あなたは。その言いぶりだと、そっちはもう見つけたんだ。
ノーコメント。遠坂が手を沸かすまではこっちも秘密さ。で、どうなのよ。その疲れた顔を見ると脈ありって感じだけど。
こっちもノーコメント。あなたに隠してもどうせ見抜かれるか。残念ながらこっちはまだよ。綾子の方はお互いのんびりしてる余裕はないはずだけど。
そうなんだけど、私も雲行きは怪しいわ。とりあえず取り繕うことはできるけど、ことがことでしょ。この先の命運がかかってるんだから妥協するわけにもいかないし。
I mean, I can agree to that, really. Ah, there we are. Properly pin that.
勝手に決めて私に負けるのも嫌？
もちろん、私にとって重要なのはあんたを任すことだもの。何が手に入るとか、何を手に入れるとかは二の次よ。
She chuckles confidently.
似た者同士ね、私たち。
ええ、初めて会った時に言ったでしょ。 あんたとはそういう関係にあるんだって。
She did, didn't she? Kill or be killed. I'm sure that's how it has been between the two of us. I was generally surprised to have someone and say that right off the bat. Translation: our friendship won't bloom unless we're constantly trading blows, is what Ayako was getting at. I agree with her. In the 2 years since then, I still haven't figured out whether she's my friend or my nemesis.
ところでさ、私たちなんでこんな話してるんだっけ？
なんでって言い出したのは遠坂でしょ。あんたがいつまでも彼氏がいないのは女としてどうよなんてこぼすもんだから。なら3年になる前にどっちが先に男作るかって勝負になったんじゃない。
ああ、そうだった。売り言葉に買い言葉ってやつだった。で、遅れを取った方が1日言いなりになるんだっけ？
ええ、今時子供でも交わさない約束だけど、あんたと私に限って往生際が悪いってことはないでしょ。どんな結果になろうと負けた方はおとなしく勝者に従うことになる。それを思うと私は今から楽しみで楽しみで。
Ayako snickers in delight. My goodness. Ayako Mitsuzuri is, to put it mildly, a handful. I'll admit, I'm looking forward to winning myself, so that goes for us both.
そうけど三辻さん、楽しむのは結構だけど目的を違えないよう気をつけなさい。勝負の内容は後先だけじゃないでしょ。
分かってるって。遠坂より早く遠坂が心底羨ましがるような関係にならないと完全勝利とは言えないからね。
Good lord.
まあ、私たちにとってはそれが一番厄介な問題なんだが、どんなにいい男だろうと好きになれなきゃ意味がない。
Ayako's sigh is heavy. From what I've heard, she's known as a bit of a misandrist. Can't put too much stock in gossip, though. That she made this bet at all means that she doesn't like boys, and more, she hasn't found the right person. That
ちょっ
aside,
と、私たちって何よ、私たちって。断っておきますけど、私はそっちと違って冷血感じゃありません。男の子を好きになるなんて問題でも何でもないわ。
doesn't even just have to be a boy.
ああ、それ嘘。もしくは気づいていないだけ。遠坂が男を気にかけるなんてことは絶対ないもの。今まで数えきれないぐらい告白されたくせに一つも色良い返事してないじゃない。少しでも興味があるなら付き合おうって思うでしょ。なのに断り続けるってことはあんたは男に興味がないってことよ。
発想が貧困ね。その場合、すでに好きな相手がいるから断ってるって話もありじゃない？
Go on.
うわ、すっごい美談。いいね、そういうの。ロマンだな。
Ayaka's tone isn't mocking. She nods solemnly. Her side tells me it would be nice if it were true. I don't believe myself. I really can't hide anything from her.
そうね。私もそう思う。
She's right. I know very well how cold I am.
認めるわ。私、こと恋愛に関しては素人みたい。
そういうこと。似た者同士だって言ったのは遠坂でしょ。で、もうじき7時か。秘密の話はこの辺にしとこう。いつ人がやってくるかわからないし、朝になったら学生らしく振る舞わないとな。
まあ三辻さんにもそういう世間体があったなんて意外だわ。ええ、これだけでも早起きした甲斐があったみたい。
あんたほど筋金入ってないけどね。私の世間体なんて遠坂凛に比べたら灯籠の斧ってもんよ。あんたの猫っかぶりは擬態っていうより別人格のレベルよ。別人格。
Ayako sniffs exaggeratedly. I emptied the rest of the teacup she poured me and brew a new pot.
で、遠坂はどうして部活に入らないのよ。運動神経がないなんてざれ言は聞かないからね。私は去年の体力測定でことごとくあんたに負けたのまだ恨んでるんだから。
あら、肺活量では三辻さんに負けたわよ、私。あと体重も三辻さんのが上だったけど。
Lung capacity?
やったー、重さで3キロ上回ったって体重で勝っても嬉しくないってのよ、このタヌキ。
Ayako slaps the table.
危ない、お茶がこぼれるでしょ、三辻さん。首相なんだから道場は大事になさい。
うるさい、私は首相である前に遠坂のライバルだ。部員がいなけりゃあんたに食ってかかるのは当然よ。
Ayako side-eyes me with a huff. She has a unique idea about beauty. A beautiful woman must walk the martial path. She's always going on about that. Not surprisingly, she is well versed in most martial arts. Kyudo was the discipline and she was least skilled at, so she joined in the club and worked her way up to captain. She's probably one of the top 3 people in our school you at least want to mess with.
あら、部員がいなければ首相じゃないなんて問題発言じゃないそれ。
問題発言なもんですか。私はお飾りの首相だから、できることって言ったら不良部員を取り締まることだけよ。私以上にしゃがりっぱなやつがいるんだから、首相としての面目なんてないわ。
そうなの？藤村先生、三辻さんは飛び抜けてうまいって言ってたけど。
あの人がそう言うんなら、そりゃ少しは自信が持てるけど、まあいなくなっちまったやつのことなんて考えても仕方ないか。そうね、藤村先生がそう言ってくれたんなら真面目に首相やんないとまずいか。
そうそう、噂をすれば影。そろそろ部員がやってくる頃でしょ。私はおいとまするけど、三辻さんはきちんと首相になりなさい。
何、見ていかないの？シャ。
見てもわからないもの。遠くから眺める分にはいいけどね。不心得者が道場にいるわけにはいかないでしょ。
Just as I get up to leave, the first club members begin entering the archery range.
おはようございます、首相。
ああ、おはようマト。今朝は一人？
はい、力になれず申し訳ありません。
ああ、いいっていいって。本人が弓をやらないって言うんなら無理をさせても仕方がない。
Ayako speaks to the first club member to
そ
arrive.
れじゃあ失礼するわ。また後でね、三辻さん。
ああ、また後でね、遠坂。
お疲れ様です、遠坂先輩。ありがとう。さくらもしっかりね。
I leave the dojo behind and so as not to get in the way.
いやあ、遠坂、おはよう。
Ugh.
あ会えるなんてついてるな。
Ugh! 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 Oh, it's you! Oh no, and here comes the person I least wanted to see. You and me both, sister.
おはようマト君。今日は早いのね。
当たり前だろ。首相なんだから早めに来ないと1年に示しがつかないじゃないか。
There's one way of putting it. Blech. Shinji Mato, no, from Class 2C, grins at me. He is the vice captain of the Kyoto Club and darling of half the girls at school. It's mostly thanks to his looks, of course, but he's also admired for his good grades, social graces, being kind to girls, and being an overall heartthrob, or something like that. I really don't follow that kind of stuff. It's just what I hear my classmates say.
そう。ご機嫌なところ悪いんだけど、一文字抜けてるわ、マト君。大事な字だから忘れない方がいいと思うけど。
一文字抜けてるって何がさ。
幸福の福。字は違うけど響きは一緒でしょ、副首相さん。気をつけなさい。別に首相も副首相も変わらないけど、変に意識するとこだわってるみたいに聞こえるでしょ。
そうだね。今後は気をつける。ありがとう、遠坂。
お礼を言われるようなことはしてないけど、まあマト君がそう思ったのなら私には関係ないか。
With that, I turn to leave the range.
ちょっと待てよ。見学に来たんだろ。なら見ていけばいいじゃないか。と
遠慮するわ。練習の邪魔をしたくないもの。
I can't, Oh, there's an autosave thing. I can jump to a scene via the flowchart?
「そんなの構わないよ。他の連中が気に障るんなら締め出すからさ。ちょっと寄っていけって。
だから邪魔をする気はないって言ってるでしょ。それに私別に弓道に興味があるわけじゃないから。
I gotta, see. Okay, backlog, gives mouse wheel. Um...
「ちょっと待てよ。見学に来たんだろ。なら見ていけばいいじゃないか。遠坂なら大歓迎だよ。
知らないやつのシャを見ても嬉しくないわ。
なんだよ遠坂。弓道に興味はなかったのか。へえ。だっていうのに放課後になると遠くから見てたのはそういうわけかな。
Doesn't he just have the most punchable face? Like, I just want to sock him. I don't know what he's playing at, but he seems to have seriously misunderstood things.
知ってたのマトック。
ああ、よく目があったんだぜ。僕と遠坂。シャを終えてさ、斬新の時に限って遠坂は僕を見ていたろ。声を返したかったけど、一応決まりでね。車上では声を上げちゃいけないんだ。
Shinji starts closing in on me, looking pleased with himself. I see the triumphant glint in his eye, competing with that affable smile.
勘違いしてたよ。遠坂は弓が好きなんだと思ってたけど、弓道には興味がないんだろ。ならなんで遠坂は道場を見ていたのかな。
Ah, now I see. It would sound like that, wouldn't it?
離れてくれないかしら、マトック。私、あまり人に近寄られるのは好きじゃないし。
ん？なに、遠坂？
あきれた。ここまで言ってもわからないのね。趣味じゃないけど仕方ないか。簡単にあなたにも理解できるように言ってあげる。
Wow! Wow! So even you can understand she is calling you straight up stupid.
いいマト君。私は弓道に興味がない以上にあなたに興味はないって言ってるのよ。実際あなたが車上にいたなんて今初めて知ったぐらいだし、きっとこれからも目に入らないわ。
なんだと。
I must have touched a nerve because he tries to grab me roughly. I twist out of his reach and turn to leave.
それじゃあね、マト君。自意識過剰なのも結構だけど、ほどほどにしておいた方がいいわよ。
遠坂、お前。
Shinji sounds like he's about to say something, but he keeps his temper and doesn't chase after me. The guy is all style, no substance. If he had even a little backbone, the people around him wouldn't suffer nearly so much. I take the rear entrance into campus from the archery range. It's past 7 now, but there still aren't students in the hallways.
あれ、遠坂さんだ。
おはようございます、藤村先生。
おはよう遠坂さん。ちゃんと挨拶してくれて先生は嬉しいよ。
The strange woman pretends to sob in delight. It may be hard to believe, but this extraordinarily affectionate and happy-go-lucky woman is actually a teacher here.
先生、ちゃんと挨拶をする以外にする挨拶があるのでしょうか？
あるわよ。1年生はちゃんと挨拶してくれるんだけどね、上級生になってくると私の名字で挨拶しないんだから。遠坂さんはああいう輩の真似しちゃダメだからね。
はあ、よくわかりませんけど、先生に失礼なことはしませんが。
よしよし。ああ、みんながみんな遠坂さんみたいだったらいいのにな。
With a parting wave and a see ya, Miss Fujimura leaves. Fortunately, she isn't my homeroom teacher. Miss Fujimura teaches English. Her sunny attitude belies her expert rank in Japanese fencing, kendo. In her student day, they called her the Fuyuki Tiger. That's the mystery, though. You'd think someone known as a tiger would be feared, not adored, right? Miss Fujimura cheerily heads off in the direction of the archery range. for some reason, and she is the faculty advisor to the Kyoto Club instead of the Kendo Club.